and tripping on them hoes.
Burn live marijuana green, I'm keeping you affected. I'm trying to smoke some weed and I'm not getting ejected. Everybody looking at the cost like I'm infected. I don't know if the weed, but I gotta smoke it. Getting high like a concentrate. I get so high, but get vibe 2028. Nobody wanna love, here we go. I'm just get the stroll, Cheerios. I've been banging no crypto. I've been doing this sitting on the flip though. I've been going through the magic getting skitsco. I don't know what y'all looking here at Frisco. Burn live, yo. What's good, everybody? Marijuana keeping y'all connected. Hashtagging these red eyes, changing the viewers. I read, keeping underage, smoking off social media, killing myself for your entertainment. Welcome to a live stream. You know what we do over here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Burn Live show, man. Hope y'all are ready. Oh my God. Today, man, my Twitter page has been blowing up. I uploaded two shows. I did 2 videos today. And I'm so proud of myself. I finally did it. I uploaded them. You won't see those videos until tomorrow. So, that's okay. I hope that my uploads go successful and go pretty good. You know what I'm saying? To let you know, I am practicing uploading videos, man. I'm really trying to get in this groove, get in the mood, man. Y'all know how we doing this Burn Live show, man. Shout out to everybody that shared out, man. It's Monday Madness, weed, politicians, stories, plus laughter. Yes. I hope y'all reading the description. Y'all know what we getting into. It's really going down today up in your DM. And I am gonna not too much rush the show. I'm gonna take my time. We're gonna talk. We're gonna discuss. We're actually gonna liberate on things that we feel deemed ready for us to liberate. We're posted live. We out here in the Las Vegas area. I'm proud that y'all are here with me. Man, good show so far. No interruptions. We had a good show. My engineer would love. I finally got me a monitor. He would like that. It's still brand new. Still got the tape on it. It works good. Just gotta work on the shade or whatever. But other than that, it's giving me the more and more confidence to go live with you guys and come hang out and chill, because now I know that everything is looking right, looking good, and I ain't squinting my eye like, hold on, what they say, what they read. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? That I ain't gotta go through that, and I can really hang out with you guys and enjoy the show just as well as you guys enjoy the show. Watching me. Appreciate everybody out there that do hang out with your boy. This is I was going to switch up the intro. I've been working on that for a minute now, of trying to work on the intro. So it's going to be like Burn Live, marijuana bringing you the news. Marijuana bringing you news and politics. Hashtagging these red eyes, changing the viewers. I read, keeper underage, smoking on social media. I thought there was more of what I done got myself into. So I think that's what I was gonna switch up my my mix with. You know what I'm saying? A lot of different news. The biggest story is Joe Biden gonna get any type of consequences for the biggest scandal that ever hit Fox. I was watching PD podcast, and it had Alex Jones on there, and he was talking about Fox and NBC and how they losing credibility, they losing numbers, nobody's really watching their shows no more. And I was like, man, you're right. You know, anybody that's really into the news knows that Tucker Carlson is not there no more. So they really been getting hit with a big blow of not having the supporters or not having people there that normally would listen to the news. I heard the news is not really popular, but like I said, I still listen to the news because it's always good to hear what they want us to hear and see, do we agree with it or not agree with it, able to discuss and break down things that we feel that are deemed necessary. If you don't think that things that I talk about is necessary, please put in the comments that I be talking about BS. I would love to hear people's opinions of what they believe is so-called necessary or non-necessary, which I feel is important, what is not important. Please leave a comment. Please let me know what I need to know. You know what I'm saying? Please. You know what I'm saying? You do me a favor. You doing yourself a favor. Everybody get done a favor, and we all need that favor done. So if you ever see a story, feel that I'm losing you or it's not going the way it's supposed to be going, anything like that, I apologize. I do not know what happened. I just had a small technical difficulty, but we got through it. But like I said, if y'all feel like this is never educating, please let me know. Please, please, please let me know. My first story to you guys. I see the little switch over, the transitioning. Not all too, whatever. Let's get into this first story and see what we can learn.
There's a new inmate at the federal prison in Otisville, New York. A 42-year-old convicted Chinese spy named Xu Yanjun. In October 2021, Xu sat across a federal courtroom in Cincinnati from another career spy, a retired CIA officer named Jim Olson, who was testifying for the U.S. government.
When I looked at Xu in the court, it crossed my mind. He and I are alike. We both were serving our country, honorably, we thought. We both were schooled in tradecraft. But there's a big difference between the two of us.
What's that?
You got caught, and I didn't.
The story of how Olson and Xu came to face each other is a tale of modern espionage. It's a saga that revealed Xu was just a small piece in what U.S. officials say is a vast enterprise orchestrated from Beijing with one goal in mind.
China ultimately wants to surpass the U.S. as the dominant global superpower.
In this global shadow war, it can be difficult to tell just who has the upper hand. But the story of Xu Yanjun demonstrates just how this game is played today. And it's a game with millions of American jobs on the line. What's the way for the United States to win this espionage war?
We have to be more aggressive. We have to wake up. What torments me is that we haven't caught them all.
If catching spies is hard enough, prosecuting them is almost unheard of. In Cincinnati, Ohio, there are two U.S. attorneys who've done it, Tim Mangan and Emily Gladfelter. Their case started in 2017 when a GE aviation engineer, David Zhang, receives a seemingly innocuous message from a university official in Nanjing, China.
The GE engineer gets an outreach over LinkedIn. How come he doesn't just delete it and think, oh, this is just spam? What triggers him responding to it?
Well, it was an invitation to come speak at a university about his subject matter.
So that's prestigious.
I think he was flattered. And as it turned out, they were willing to fund the trip, and it's paying for a flight back to China. He was able to combine it with seeing his family.
The university that invited the engineer focuses on aerospace science. And in 2017, Zhang is working on GE's newest jet engine, the GE9X, being built for Boeing's 777X.
The GE engineer was one of less than 10 people on a team regarding this technology that they were working on.
What was it that the Chinese were trying to get here?
GE's engine fan blades are made of a composite material, which makes it very light, very strong. That gives it a tremendous advantage over competitors with respect to.
Okay, anybody thinking like me right now, like, I understand we all want to cover that story. We got to get that story. We want to see that story. But yet again, when y'all talk about spies, when they talk about spies getting caught and getting covered up, and then we see them, it to me raises a flag of questioning, like how in the life written sentences is we catching these guys, but not actually catching these guys. Anybody see what I'm saying? It's like we're catching them, we're putting them on blast, we're making these stories. So don't you think if you catch them and you tell the people that, hey man, we caught a spy, and then you release them because, come on man, you caught them, you embarrassed them, you put them out there. It's like saying a dead man's walking. It's like saying a dead man's walking. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I be looking at when I be looking at these situations. I'll be looking at these stories about these spies, like, and you just setting them up to die? I kind of think so.
Weight, fuel efficiency, and so forth. Other competitors have tried to develop this on their own, and some are getting close. But as far as engines that are up in the air right now, the only ones with a composite fan blade and a fan blade case are from GE.
David Zhang declined our interview request, but prosecutors say that when he visits the university in Nanjing in June 2017, he's being assessed. During his trip, Zhang is introduced to a man who claims to be part of a local science and tech association.
The alias he uses is Chu Wei, but it's Zhu Yanjun, who works for the Ministry of State Security. It's essentially the main intelligence operation within the Republic of China.
Xu Yanjun is a spy at the Ministry of State Security, or MSS. In the spring of 2017, Xu is 36 years old and a mid-level officer in one of its provincial bureaus. He attempts to recruit the GE engineer as an agent using techniques known as tradecraft. Jim Olson is a former chief of counterintelligence at the CIA.
You have to pretend to be someone else. That's your cover.
A decorated spy who was undercover in Paris, Vienna, and Moscow, Olson made the difficult decision to come in from the cold to teach the country's next generation of intelligence officers at the Bush School at Texas A&M University. As the prosecutor's expert witness on tradecraft, Olson says Xu Yanjun's wooing of the GE engineer was textbook.
In LinkedIn, you're soliciting responses from prospective employers. And what the Chinese do is they respond. And they do it under the guise of something that is innocent sounding. Would you be available to come to China at our expense to do a guest lecture? It's above board, it's unclassified, all expenses paid. They wine them and dine them. They flatter them.
So far, none of that sounds like spying.
It's
That
not
sounds
spying
like
yet.
networking.
It's spying from the Chinese standpoint because they're sizing this person up. They've got designs on that person. They're not satisfied with an unclassified lecture. They want to get their hands on the goods. They want to get into the classified realm, into the trade secret realm.
Prosecutors say that while the GE engineer tells his bosses he's going to visit his family, he leaves out one crucial bit, which is against company policy.
He went on the trip and didn't tell the bosses that he was going to give this presentation.
And that's what initially we were investigating.
GE and law enforcement discovered the engineer had taken company material to China to help him prepare for the presentation. It was material so sensitive that you need a license to take it out of the country.
After the FBI confronts him in GE's offices, the employee begins to cooperate.
So what the FBI does is they take control of the operation. They begin to respond as the employee to the emails and the phone calls that are coming in from the Chinese side. And it is a classic double agent operation.
The FBI uses the GE engineer to connect with the man he met in China.
Xu, sitting over in China, is encouraged because the communications that are coming back from the FBI, posing as the employee, are encouraging.
So Xu thinks the GE engineer is a spy for China,
He's moving in that direction.
but he's actually a double agent working for the FBI.
That's right.
Xu begins testing the boundaries, sending detailed requests to the engineer to see what he'd be willing to fork over.
One of the things that Zhu sent to the GE engineer was a shopping list of things that he was looking for. This was a list of things that he obviously had gotten from talking to other people in China, companies and government officials.
So this is the wish list.
This is the wish list. So the top version is the Chinese version and then the translation underneath.
And so this is the actual ask.
He's asking for the types of software programs they're using. He's asking design and structure questions about the composite.
I feel like not only, okay, in spine, I expect this, but when you're at the bottom of a job and you're trying to get to the top, you kind of want to know these answers too. How the job, you know what I'm saying? I want to know whatever shortcut I can find too at my job to make my job easier, accessible, don't have to work as hard as I see other people do. I'm just not playing. These are things I do look for, I hope for, because I feel like it's necessary. And if you look for them same things as me, I don't blame you. I really, really don't blame you.
Composite material for fans and the fan casing.
Was there a moment where you said, you know, we're over the hump here, we have plenty of evidence, we're going to be able to prosecute this case?
To me, it was the request for the laptop directory.
A laptop directory would list all the files that the engineer had access to, files filled with GE's proprietary information and possibly the secret sauce for its engine blades.
He attaches instructions on exactly how
Oh, here's
he
how
wants
you
him
do
to
it.
Yes.
Step 1, create a notepad document. Step 2, open it and entering the following content. So he's giving him literally step-by-step instructions on how to send him GE information.
Yeah, and this is the type of document that should make U.S. companies nervous. This is exactly the steps that you go through if you want to copy your company computer and give it to China.
Hey, get away!
10 years ago, we invented the Ring Video Doorbell for moments like these.
We found your wallet.
And Ring security cameras for moments like these.
Where are you?
With Ring, you're always home. Shop early Prime Day deals at Amazon.com.
China is one of the world's biggest markets for new commercial aircraft, and it's relied on Boeing and Airbus for most of its airplanes. The country has a commercial airplane manufacturer, COMAC, but it hasn't exactly done well.
The Chinese have, since the late 70s, tried to develop their own aircraft, first on their own and then in collaboration with Western companies. Almost all of those have failed.
Scott Kennedy of the Center for Strategic and International Studies has been researching China since he was a college student there 35 years ago.
The C919, which is supposed to compete with Boeing 737, everything that's in that plane that keeps it in the air is American or European.
So explain, if you could, how this Chinese spy, Xu Yanjun, stealing this piece of technology from GE Aviation, fit into the larger goal of what China's trying to do.
The Chinese have been trying to develop engine technology on their own. There have been people in China who have been looking for alternative means, so to speak, to obtain this technology that they couldn't develop regularly and legitimately.
And those are the spies?
Yes. Creating their own commercial aircraft is perhaps Xi Jinping's top commercial priority. He has associated himself personally with achieving this mission. The political incentive for anyone in China in this sector is sky high.
Now we up here thinking, come with me, y'all. We up here really be thinking that China has the best technology, the best everything. It sounds like they don't be having the best everything. They have the cheapest things to put out. That's why they not number one and stuff like that. Come on, they so overpopulated and they can't even put janitors in their schools because they're so overpopulated. They want most of their Chinese people to go to war. They want them fighting in a war. So this spy that we're uncovering is very, very understandable in what we're going through in our democracy.
And it's part of a larger plan called Made in China 2025. Unveiled in 2015 by the Beijing government, it listed 10 high-tech or advanced industries that China wanted to develop fast, first to supply their own domestic market and then the global one.
What areas do the Chinese want to dominate?
Computers, phones, telecom equipment, new energy vehicles, autonomous vehicles, commercial aircraft, biotech. Their wish list actually looks a lot like our wish list.
That's a plan to dominate the global economy.
Certainly, the Chinese, I think, believe that if they are not at the top, they're going to be victim to somebody else. But commerce is also part of national power.
When China first opened up to the U.S. and the West in the 1970s, the country became the destination for low-cost manufacturing, clothing, toys, and other consumer goods, to the benefit of the American shopper's wallet. But as China's economy boomed, its middle class did too.
China has started to experience the same transition that all countries eventually experience. Wages start to rise and industries start to move.
Timothy Heath is a senior international and defense researcher with the RAND Corporation.
Who would have ever thought spy would go into these lobbyist groups? You would never thought. I know y'all never thought. You would have never thought that this would be happening like this. These stories are happening like this.
The current path that China is on is unsustainable. They cannot keep making these low-wage products. They are subsidizing them currently at such a heavy rate that the losses are growing and growing and the debt is growing. If it fails to move up the value-added chain, China will be faced with a massive unemployment problem and its prospects will be very bleak.
So if you can't develop it yourself, the strategy in China is go out and steal it or go out and buy it.
Correct. And they have directed all elements of state power, from the commercial to the academic, to the government, to the military, to do their part in acquiring the technology needed for China to succeed.
Senator Mark Warner, a Democrat, and Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican, are the leaders of the Senate Intelligence Committee. They've been briefing U.S. business leaders about the threat from China since 2018.
Today, the world we live in, the world we've all benefited from, the world we still benefit from to some extent, was a world framed by an American-led order. Now, if they are dominant in these fields in the 21st century, the entire world will be responding to Chinese standards, which is leverage in and of itself over geopolitics.
There's a lot of people, including myself, that has been trying to explain to people that China wants to be a globalist country. China owns other countries out here that you would never believe. We've been discussing this for a while. I probably haven't broke it down good enough on this show. Good enough. But yet again, I am going to find a way to break it down and try to explain to people like, yes, this has been going on for a while. This is what's going on, and it doesn't seem to be letting up no time soon. It's not going to let up. They're here to take over. There are spies everywhere. FBI, CIA, double spies, double agents. That's nothing new. It just kind of weirds me out when they get exposed on television and stuff like that, and then you hear about they getting released or something like that, and like, how can we sit up here and release these type of people when they have done crimes like this? That, to me, makes no sense. But hey, that's what we go through. When we sit up here and then we want to point the finger, or we want to discuss, or we want to do anything like that, that's the problem we run into. Let's check out this show, y'all.
White people, y'all got 4th of July, Y'all got Christopher Columbus Day.
They got all the holidays.
They got all the holidays. Finally, us niggas get a holiday. Juneteenth, man. It's actually, it's got some historical value to it. Not made up. A lot of conservatives say this is made up. No, man, shit actually happened. Not a Christmas. But anyway, you know, when you give black people a holiday, what you gotta do? They gotta be criminals. Check this out. Y'all like that African music I added? Gave it a nice touch, did it? Got some African music in the background. Man, they is tying up. Man, they getting back to the roots, man. This is black culture right here. No, man, it's complete chaos. They're inside of McDonald's. I think it's in L.A. Yeah. It's either L.A., Chicago, or Detroit. Jackson, Mississippi. Baltimore. You can't forget about Baltimore. Hey, you can't forget about Baltimore. This dude stole the register. Yeah, how much money you think is in that register? Everybody pays for the card now. Yeah, I know. See how stupid these Negroes are?
Why do it look like they did this right after school? You see them with the book bags on and everything. They really got book bags on.
You gonna bust it open. Hey, bust it open, get them quarters and nickels out of that. Where the money at? There ain't no money in there. Everybody uses card, you idiot. Man, you people need to go back where y'all came from.
Hey, man, seriously, this is why Walmart left Chicago.
Yeah.
Like, during COVID, when they was rioting and stuff, that one Walmart that left there, they went there and, like, torched the place. The sprinkler system went on.
Yeah.
And they flooded. How do you flood a Walmart? By lighting the fire, them sprinklers go up. They're going to make sure that fire's put out. They flooded the Walmart. And then that's why they left, because they was losing millions of dollars from not only just rioting, but theft.
Yeah.
And not only that, if that's not enough, it's people getting killed around that place. Employees don't want to show up for work.
Yeah, drive-by shootouts at that place. That's not a good place for business. Let me put it to you like this. Certain areas of Chicago is not conducive for success. It's not a good environment. It's not a good atmosphere.
Yeah, there's some areas in Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, it does not facilitate success.
It doesn't facilitate the business process.
It only facilitates criminals.
Yeah.
But, man, I don't know what to say.
I mean, Walmart, come on, man. Y'all white. Y'all should know better. Y'all know better going to Chicago. Why y'all go to Chicago?
Hey, they tried
to give them Negroes a chance, didn't they? All that white guilt. You like, you know what, man? I'm so rich and white and I got everything. You know what? Think I'm gonna help Chicago. Think I'm gonna help them niggas down. Look how them Negroes repaid you. Burnt your store up, flooded it. They in there stealing, robbing it.
They shooting and killing each other outside the store.
Hey, what do you think about niggas now, huh?
Hey, Kev, that's not but not all black people like that. See, you're looking at like the subculture within the black community. Not all black people like that.
Oh man, you trying to excuse, you trying to undermine black people in the things we did. You know, black criminals, man. They still black. They might be a subculture of black people, but they still black.
No, I'm just saying. Hold on now.
Oh man, I'm
no.
tired of these niggas, man. I ain't giving them no more breaks, man. Cause all these fools gonna run and vote for a Democrat. Oh man, they deserve quarters and nickels out of that.
No, man,
complete chaos.
They're inside of McDonald's. I think it's in L.A.
Yeah, it's either L.A.
Book bags on. Daylight. Just getting out of school. How embarrassing is this? For me to play this over and over, and I'm trying to get my black people to watch this. I'm trying to get black people to watch this. I'm like, come on, man, watch this. And they come in there and be like, dang, all you show is disruptive of black people. That's all it be on the tube. This is all we see. What do y'all expect? This is all we see. They yell at us. They get mad. All we show is what? All I show is what I see. Quit getting caught, quit getting put on cameras, and we wouldn't discuss this stuff. I be asking my peoples, man, what they be watching, and a lot of people try not to keep it 100. I'm just gonna keep it 200. Cause don't people want to keep it 100? I'm gonna keep it 200. They do not like to keep it real. I'm like, what do y'all be watching? Black people, y'all only looking at two things: fights or relationships. I ask people that every day. And then when they tell me no, I'm lying. When they tell me no, I'm lying, I ask them, okay, so what are you looking up? So what do you be watching? What is your timeline full of? I get this right here, silent. Because we know when we're strolling, I had to cancel out a lot of negativity so I wouldn't see all them fights and all that stuff. Because that's all I kept seeing. Just like right now, all you're going to see, if you caught on, is the submarine, Trump, white supremacists, shootings. That's it. That's what the type of world we have brought ourselves to. Also, there's other things in between with the grooming. Every allegation that somebody get put up under is getting put out there. We just see it every day. Oh, this person did this. This person did that. This person did this. This person did that. That's all we see every day. I hate to say that's what I show. I hate to say that's what I keep on showing, but it keep happening. We keep letting people come in and watch us and tear us down, and I try to be positive. You know, I'm just a guy that smokes weed and want to talk about things that are truthful, factual, not too much debatable, common sense, things that we shouldn't be arguing about. Leave the kids alone. Quit trying to tell kids that's what they are. Kids been knew what they wanted to be since they was born. Since they was born, they knew that they wanted to. Okay. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, I just found out what we finna watch for the second half. I gotta watch this for the second half. I have to watch this for the second half. It is really, really finna go down. Trust me, trust me, trust me. But until then, give me a second, y'all. We are finna take a 1:25 break. I'll be right back.
It's 20.
Yeah, hit that subscribe, hit that bell, hit that thumbs up, hit that notifications if you like what you see. That's what's up. I put that together thanks to a good friend. I am finna go try to make more little commercial, little ads and stuff like that. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know when y'all heard me say Martin Yanny Yantin, Martin Yanny Yantin. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the good old Martin Show. But this time, Martin Show is a guest on somebody else's show. I want to hear what he has to say dealing with systemic racism. Oh yeah, I got to hear this. This is gonna be wonderful. I might have to dissect this and make smaller segments out of this. I promise you, I know I'm gonna have to.
Today, Roland Martin, American journalist, and he's got a show called Roland Martin Unfiltered, and he's known to be the sweetest guy you'll ever meet, specifically on YouTube, interviews, just very gentle, kind.
My mom says that.
Have you always been this sweet?
Of course.
Always.
My mom says that. My dad says it.
Is it just two people? How many more?
Until I get pissed off.
Until I get pissed off.
Until folks lie to me on the air, then the other side comes out.
So, Roland, let me ask you, how long have you been like this? Like, at what point were you the kid that argued every point? Were you like, Linda, you don't understand? Were you that person from day one? Okay.
Because it was always a pursuit of truth. And so, I mean, I remember being in was a couple of things. I was probably in the third grade.
Yeah.
Third or fourth grade. I remember at an elementary school, it was a kindergarten teacher who, these girls said, I said something to them that I never said. So they go to him and they complain. And so we had this huge, it was a Vanguard magnet program. So with this huge basketball game. So it was like the Vanguard program versus the regular school. It was like the biggest game of the year. And the guy was like, he said, well, I'm believing them, so you have to apologize or you're not going to play in the game. I guess I ain't playing the game. So I literally sat there, and mind you, this is like the biggest game of the year. This is like a major deal. So my brother's, he's in the Vanguard program, and I'm dressed and everything. So I sat there for 3 periods.
Yeah.
I didn't move. I'm like, dude, I didn't say it.
How old are you? How old are you at this time?
I was in the, that was either 3rd or 4th grade. It was 4th grade. And I was like, I'm not moving.
9 years old.
I was like, I'm not moving. I mean, I didn't say it. So my whole deal is, some people be like, dude, just say I'm sorry so you can play the game. No, I didn't say it. So therefore, I'm not going to sit here and apologize. Now, when I was in 12th grade government class, it was a trip. We had Miss Joseph. She's teaching and she says, a president can't serve more than 8 years. I said, it's not true. And she's like, what about? I said, that's simply not true. I said, we have empirical data that shows that. You can actually, I said, Lyndon Baines Johnson took over as president on November 22nd, 1963. He announced, he of course ran in 64. He chose not to run in 68. I said, it's very clear. You could serve more than 8 years. And so we argue back. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I know you think that you are right. I said, but it's right here. Like, what are you talking about? And so we had a test, and I wouldn't. And so I wrote it on the test, and then she marked it wrong. I'm like, you're wrong. And so then we had this follow-up exam. We had a follow-up quiz, and I think I probably had like an average of like 102 in this class for extra credit and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I said, I'm just going to mark 0 on my quiz. I said in protest, and what? It's going to drop my grade down to 101.5? And man, she was livid. And I said, look, I get it. You don't want to be wrong. But the facts are clear. JFK assassinated November 22nd. LBJ becomes president. He runs in 64. He declines in 68. I said, do the math. That's more than 8 years. And so she was like upset. And so that's the thing for me. My whole deal is, that's why I hate even when I was on CNN, I hated when they would say, someone would say something, and I'm like, they lying. and they would stand there, and they would just,
Roland, when's the last time? What was the last year you were wrong? Was it 80s? Was it 90s?
If it's happened.
No, I'm just curious.
Man, it's been a long.
Come on, man.
No, because I mean,
Roland.
No, I'm seriously. I'm talking about. I am, and if I say something, I said something that was incorrect on the air the other day. In the debate, we came up from the break. I said, "Let me correct information I gave you." It's like boom, because.
Okay.
Here's the philosophy. Here's the philosophy. If you're driving down the street, or if you're watching, and somebody says something and no one says anything, you go, that must be correct. No one says anything. So what happens is, especially in cable news or even on broadcast news, they will sit there and they will just let people say stuff and just slide. And I'm sitting there going, so we just gonna sit here and just let that lie just stand, and then it's kind of like, okay, now we have time. No, that was a lie. And then what they'll do is, then I hate this. Well, we'll come back and fact check the next day. No. You fact check in the moment. But the problem is, most of these people who are television anchors, they are not smart, they're not well read, and they rely on a producer to have to fact check them, provide them facts. Whereas for me, no. We're going to fact check in real time. Like right now. You say something, and my whole deal is, you're talking, I'm sitting there on my iPad. I remember Shermichael Singleton we working with the Ben Carson campaign. He goes, no, Roland, Ben Carson has an HBCU plan. I'm like, no, he doesn't. He's like, I guarantee you. I'm like, you know what, Shermichael? I said, why don't you make your point? Now I'm going to sit over here and go to his website. So go ahead and finish your point. So he's talking. I'm sitting there. I'm like, are you done? And I had this phrase, Shelly was my director. I would go, and so anytime our audience knew when I say, Shelly, go to my iPad, I'm about to get in somebody's ass. It's about to happen right now. And I went, Shelly, go to my iPad. Sure, Michael, this is his website. This is the search box, HBCU. Click. Do you see it? Like, it's on the screen. Yeah. He's sitting there. It's like, oh God. and I'm killing them. And I'm like, dude, I said, and we went to the break. I said, Shermichael, never ever go on the air and be emphatic with something if you had not checked before you said it. And to this day, he's gotten other he thanks me because I put him on TV first. He said, you taught me a valuable lesson. He said, you handed my ass to him. I said, because you didn't fact check before it came out of your mouth.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you see that happen on a lot. And, I'd love to see a system where during elections, so we did this one debate one time where we had this guy who.
He need to run for president and see where he can go. Why don't he run for president? Everybody wants something new and something fresh. He's fact checking a real. You should run for president.
Was she was from Normal. She was a director of Normal to legalize marijuana. The other guy was a Navy intelligence guy, captain, and they came and we were doing this sit down 5-6 years ago. And the way we did it, which was fascinating, is every time a person gave a fact or a statement with data, the bottom would say and then it would show red or it would say green. Yes, this is exactly what it is.
There you go.
I would love a format that both candidates, Republican, Democrat, every time they say something, a fact check. We should have the technology for people to be able to do that
but
today.
Here's the deal, though. But you don't have to actually wait for them to say yes or no to that. Because you have these debate
You
rules.
just do it.
No, you just do it.
Yeah.
And so
why do you think CNN, ABC, Fox, why do you think these guys don't do it?
Well, because it's an inside game. It's an inside game.
What do you mean by that?
Well, the game is you like the invitation. You want to invite them back, so you want to make them happy, and so you don't want to tick them off. And so the show's like, oh no, so we're going to go soft, if you will, as opposed to, you know,
Both sides do that.
Go hard,
Yeah.
right? So you take September 21. I'm on ABC News this week, and Chris Christie gave his big speech at the Reagan Library. You know, we need to move on from Trump, whatever. So we're sitting there, and again, I'm just a guest.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, I'm not a contributor. The other 3 people are contributors. George Stephanopoulos is sitting right there. And so I'm like, during the break, they said, we could talk about Chris Christie's speech. And forgot the sister, she said, you sure we're going to talk about that? To George. And he goes, yeah. Now, I'm not saying anything. Inside, I'm like, oh, hell yes. Bring this speech up. Please bring this speech up. So it comes up. And so George talks, and Chris is talking, and he's, you know, taking his very high and mighty stance, and I'm sitting there, and if like you go back and watch it, I'm waiting, because see, this is what I teach people: you can't be too eager to jump in, so you have to let it come to you. So he talks, and they're talking back and forth, and then she talks, and then she talks, and then George gets to me, and I turn to Chris Christie, and I say, you have to accept the responsibility you played in creating that man. And I just went right at him. And he's like, you know, I ran against him in 2016, but you debate prepped him in 2020, and you support. I'm talking about, he turns red.
Roland,
mad.
to be fair, like, this is like the one thing about politics. You saw Kamala calling out Biden immediately, and then boom, she's the VP.
Yes, George H.W. Bush called Reagan's economic policies voodoo economics,
and then boom,
right?
Yes,
but again though, you accept the fact that you did it. So remember, she
which
called,
is totally fine,
right? She called him out. She called him out, and later became VP. My problem with Christie was, you're giving this huge speech like he was this problem, and I'm sitting there going, yes, but you created the monster. So it's sort of like, you can't complain about the monster when you help create the monster, when there was an option to say, I have convictions, morals, principles, and values. I simply cannot stand with a known liar.
Right.
And what I said is, you chose politics and power over principles and patriotism.
Happens on both sides.
Right.
All the time.
Yeah.
I never said it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, you have to be willing to actually
Press up.
say it. So if you say, okay, I was very much against this here, now I'm for it, okay, and then if it blows up, don't try to come back and go, well, I mean, I knew this thing was going to blow up. No. You didn't stand on principle. And I think that's a huge problem today when we look at not just politics, but also business. When we have people.
I cannot knock his mindset and how he thinks. That's wonder why these are one of the reasons why I keep coming back to his show, to hear his point of view. And I'm glad that you need more men like him that are strong and opinionated, and is going to be able to try to back up what they stand for as a party. That's how you teach. That's how you grow.
People, and I'm going back to the whole point about when I was in the kindergarten. If you have to be willing to stand on truth, knowing it's going to cost you, and when you can accept that, to me, this is just me.
Yeah,
I'm going to sleep a lot better, because I'm simply not going to just go along to get along. If I actually have conviction that this person is not it, I don't care what they do and what they promise. I can't stand with you.
right.
Not going to happen.
So that's good that you're saying that, because I like stats, I like data. Okay, to go through some data, and we'll cover some of that, because I truly want to get your opinion. My ideal situation would be to have a panel of folks from both sides to debate and have a conversation together civilly. I think that's the way where the audience wins, where you're able to say, here's what I believe, the other person says what I believe, and then there is the facts. Meaning,
See, I got new twist for you.
There's
not both sides.
What do you mean both?
How about you have a debate? See, again though, this is whether because again, I lived it. See, when it's both sides, because when I say I lived it, they would speak the truth in the green room, but when they go on the air, what happens is their tribes are watching. So they defend the tribe versus the issue. So here's what I told CNN. Why don't we have some debates where you actually have two Republicans who disagree on the issue? That way you take party out. Now becomes the issue. The problem today in most debates, we're not debating the issue. We're debating the sides. When you debate the issue, it's not you're Democrat, you're Republican, you're left, you're right, you're blue, you're red. No. What's the issue? And so when people have said to me, they're like, I've never self-identified as a Democrat or Republican. I refuse. Have I voted for Republicans and Democrats? Yes, because I look at what's this issue. I'm a huge school choice person.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had some Democrats who, and I'm like, y'all want to swing? Let's swing.
I'm glad he said that. I'm glad he said that. So I do apologize to my audience for even calling him a Democrat. I apologize to him if he ever do not watch my show, because I'm probably so small and don't make no money on doing this. So I just want to put that out there.
And the Republicans are going, well, man, you stand with us on this issue. I'm like, no, I don't stand with you in terms of the party on the issue. I stand with the issue.
But generally,
that's the problem we have today. But we don't discuss the issue.
Well, who do you think is more united? You think Democrats are more united with each other? They may disagree behind closed doors, but they're united with each other. Or you think Republicans are more united with each other?
Because Republicans, here's why. The Democratic tent is actually a big tent. Like, you literally have conservative Democrats, moderate Democrats. You got progressive, then you got far left Democrats. You look at ain't that many moderate Republicans, to be truth. I'm talking about they're basically non-existent in Congress. So you're either right or far right. So the Republicans, it's a lot easier when they're debating issues because you cannot be a liberal Republican. Senator Edward Brooke, the first African American elected since Reconstruction to the United States Senate, okay, was a liberal Republican from Massachusetts. Okay, there is no way today he could ever be elected. Not going to happen. In fact, if you actually look at Ronald Reagan on a lot of stuff, on amnesty and separate, it'd be a little hard for Reagan. So Republicans are a lot easier because from an ideological standpoint, it's pretty much right, far right. That's why in the Democratic caucus, when you look at when these issues come up, it's a lot harder to bring them together to get to 218 because you got these different, you got 20 over here, you got 10 over here, and so it's a lot harder. So it absolutely is Republicans.
Okay, so let's do issues. How about let's just go on issues with today. What issues do you see Republicans presenting that you agree with? To specific issue is to African Americans. That's the main topic I want to hear. What issues do you see where Republicans come up with to say, you know what, I actually like that idea, and what do you see the left Democrats coming up with that you like?
More Republicans are willing to support the idea of school choice than Democrats because your teachers' unions are largely opposed to the expansion of school choice, and they are a significant donor to the Democratic Party. The problem I have when I'm standing with Republicans, I then go, but why? What's your motivation? In many cases, it's to destroy the unions. It ain't about the kids. So I've stood in front of folks and I said, okay, same thing with the expansion of the voucher programs.
Yeah.
I go, okay, who do y'all care about? Do you care about the expansion of voucher programs to truly help the kids who need it, who are in the worst schools, or are you actually trying to help largely white suburban parents get extra money to afford to go to private schools? And I've stood at conferences and said that, and people.
But you always up there bashing. Okay, it's cool. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I gotta hear this out though.
Room light. Damn, this the keynote? I'm like, yes. Because for me, it's for those kids who are actually in the worst schools. So even though we will agree on that policy, like I had a woman who called me from Texas, and she calls Dr. Steve Perry. So he like, I'm not from Texas, but my boy Roland is, born and raised in Texas. And so we get on the phone, and so she's like, we're trying to mobilize Black and Hispanic parents, around expansion of vouchers program. And so she's talking, and Steve had to give me her name, and so she's just talking. And I'm like, you're going to lose. She's like, what do you mean? I said, let me ask you a question. You care about Black and Hispanic kids on the issue? She's like, absolutely. I said, why is your board all white? I said, in fact, let me ask you this question. Can you tell me the top 10 highest performing Black and Hispanic led charter schools in San Antonio, Houston, Dallas? Take your pick. She got quiet. I said, but you're calling me because you want to mobilize Hispanic and Black parents on this issue to get this voucher program passed, and you don't even know who the Black and Latino top charter schools are. So how can you? I said, so you want their voices, but you don't even know them. And she just froze. And again, I froze her because, again, you're proving to me that you're not legit on this. Now, if you go on the Democratic side, where do I stand with Democrats? Absolutely, when it comes to the issue of voter protection and voting in this country, it is the Republican playbook. Voter suppression is no doubt. The closing of polling locations, making it difficult. I mean, they've literally said it publicly. The Speaker of the House in Georgia said, if we expand ballot drop boxes and allow folks to vote absentee without an excuse, we will lose. Now, my whole deal is, how can you walk around with troops and go, oh, democracy, and they're fighting for our values and it's the right to vote? No, every politician should want everybody to vote, and you don't create obstacles. That is the biggest one where I stand against Republicans.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but what I would say.
We can break it down to issues.
No, but what I would say with that too is
I'm glad he disagreed, because I was like, it sounded like how he presented it. It's like in Georgia and Alabama and some of these southern places where it's more Republican than Democrat because of hours. You just want hours. And Republicans want more of IDs to get rid of the illegal immigrants that's going on down there. Man, I have already learned so much in just 18 minutes and 22 seconds of a 2-hour show of this. I am going to have to break down other shows on here of this. I'm not going to go too far deep into the shit. But it's really, really good for people to watch and see. I do this live streaming. I go finding these little shows to actually show y'all both sides. And that's what I really, really been looking for, is to find more democratical things to talk about, more Republican things to talk about, to discuss, to agree or disagree upon. You know what I'm saying? Man, we're starting to head in the right direction and going places, man. We is. I appreciate it. Whoo. Burn Live, y'all. Merle Wankley still bringing you some news and politics. Man, just to better educate ourselves. Okay? If we don't, and that's why I feel a lot of people, especially this young generation, they like, I just got out of school and I ain't trying to learn nothing. I got so many people that I do discuss, and I be like, man, do y'all understand these things like this goes on? And if we don't discuss any problems and issues, just like Roland said, you don't discuss the problems and issues, then what you gonna do? There's a lot of us that are intelligent enough to sit up here and discuss these topics and subjects with us easily. Okay. We might not have to, but I think we should. It's a lot of people that like think that we should. It's always we should. We should sit here, we should do this, we should do that. I definitely think that's what we should do. I'm up here actually looking. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that this was an actual
Are you interested?
Story to do. I'm gonna do one more story before we get up out of here. Do 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 do.
Passing a sweeping anti-trans bill. Now, the WHS 1119 was there in Frankfurt for the vote tonight. The bill bans gender-affirming medical care for minors, allows teachers to ignore a student's preferred pronouns, and trans students from using the restroom tied to their gender identities. WHS 1119's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie have the emotional reaction.
Despite the desperate cries,
I'm embarrassed and I'm appalled and I'm scared. I won't know.
And impassioned pleas,
How dare you? You're gonna kill kids. Their blood will be on your hands.
Kentucky GOP lawmakers succeed in getting anti-trans legislation to the governor's desk, where it's expected to be vetoed.
Shame on you. I would thank you for your time, but I am honest to God so embarrassed, ashamed, and for the first time in my life, I wish I was not a Kentuckian.
It's hard to put into words just how fast-moving this bill was. During a surprise Senate Education Committee vote, Republican Senator Max Wise and Representative David Meade blindsided everyone, reviving what was thought to be a dead Senate Bill 150.
There's evidence that this is harmful to children. And that's our job, is to protect children, and that's what we're doing here.
The new expanded version includes far-reaching measures. It would have school districts create explicit bathroom policies, forcing trans students to abide by their biological sex. It also bans gender-affirming care for anyone in Kentucky under the age of 18. That's both surgical procedures and non-surgical procedures.
We are attacking a group of vulnerable people, as we're calling late meetings, and sneaking bills in. This is not good government.
The director of Planned Parenthood told me this bill is the farthest reaching anti-trans legislation in the entire country. Supporters say it backs parental rights.
You watched the committee or were in the committee, you would have seen the testimony from certain doctors and certain mental health professionals, so yes, there were some consultants.
But opponents believe it will lead young queer Kentuckians to leave the state or worse.
Please think about a kid that you know. Think about how you would feel if a kid you knew couldn't get access to medical care and they came home and you found them dead.
The General Assembly will have time to override any vetoes. Lawmakers return for that in 2 weeks. In Frankfurt, Connor Steffen for the WHS 1119.
They always hit us with a what if, but there's no, yet again, documents of kids doing that. Killing themselves because they couldn't get to no medical grievances.
The Kentucky Democratic Party calling it a Frankenstein bill tonight. More reaction from Kentucky Congressman Morgan McGarvey of Louisville saying this is so miserable, mean, and misinformed. The Republicans had to sneak it through late in the session despite having supermajorities. And Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg tonight sending encouragement to the LGBTQ community saying, I share your anger and despair. We will keep fighting and ultimately win.
Recordings just got better.
Whew. It's the commercials. Man. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to find me a way to pay for these commercials. Sheesh. All right, y'all. Y'all seen that legislation did get passed. We're out here saving kids. They think we out here killing kids. To me, it is what it is, bros. I ain't trying to kill no kids, but I definitely think saving a life is better than killing a kid. Just saying. So, without further ado, y'all, we gonna get up out of here. Peace.